I find it pretty cool how every Splatoon 1 special was translated in some way to Splatoon 3. Bomb Rush and Ink Strike were merged into Tri-Strike, Bubbler to Big Bubbler, Echo to Wave Breaker, Inkzooka to Trizooka, Killer Whale to Killer Whale 5.1, and then there's just Kraken. Reef Slider's the closest argument, but that's very clearly a hybrid between Baller and Splashdown, carrying many traits of those two specials and practically none of Kraken's. It's the only Splatoon 1 special they left behind, and it's also one of the most iconic ones. Even the new map of Brinewater Springs references it in a statue. Obviously, this was a very broken special back in the day, and there's plenty of aggressive specials in Splatoon 3, so I wanted to come up with the question, can Kraken be reworked, and should it be reworked into Splatoon 3? Today, I'm going to try to answer those questions, and if you find this interesting, be sure to subscribe to see more Splatoon 3 content, and let's get into it. For my first goal, I want to talk about it being distinct from the most similar specials, being the Ultra Stamp, Reef Slider, and Crab Tank. Kraken is pretty much solely focused on kills in extremely close range. You literally have to be able to jump on top of the enemy player in order to kill them. In theory, it should do decent damage to objects, which we can tell by using a Kraken against the wall and the Rainmaker shield, but it's really nowhere near as good as something like Ultra Stamp or Crab Tank. And even Reef Slider does insane damage upon explosion and can even run over several specials. Kraken, unlike these other three specials, would only really be used to survive these specials rather than directly contest them, and would be contributing much less damage than some actual main weapons. On top of that, Kraken is uniquely mobile in any terrain, being able to climb walls much more effectively than Crab Tanks going straight upward, as well as obviously being able to swim through enemy ink at the same speed of you swimming normally. Later in this, we'll be adding to Kraken even more, giving it access to the Squid Roll and Surge attacks, which should make it even more distinct. Ultra Stamp might still be seen as similar, since it has the same activation sound and also weakness of limited turning speed, but Ultra Stamp is a varied special with a lot of different utility, with the throw mode, being able to use Squid Form, and the rush mode, and the jumping swing, so I think it still means that the special is overall the least flexible, the most focused on kills and distractions, with the most maneuverability as a nice bonus, making it distinct enough for me. Number 2, we need to effectively balance the special better than in Splatoon 1, not only making it weaker, but making it easier to counterplay for all weapons. I have 3 changes I want to do for this. First off, while the special will still be able to activate instantly, you won't be able to jump, Squid Roll, Squid Surge, and will have no added HP for the first 50 frames. You'll still be able to move, making it somewhat situational as a panic button, but it'll be something that the opponents can easily deal with, preventing you from just, instantly becoming invincible. Number 2, the special will now be HP based instead of invincibility, having 500 in total, the same as Crab Tank. I'm okay giving it a higher amount of HP because it's something that needs to get so close to the enemy player that it's going to take a lot of damage while doing so. It'll have damage multipliers as well, similar to the Crab Tank, so higher damage weapons like shooters will do a little bit less to it, but weaker damage weapons like the Splatanas will be able to do much higher damage. And number 3, most importantly, the knockback will be adjusted to be the same as Splatoon 2's Ink Armor, meaning that high power weapons like chargers will knock the special back significantly farther, giving them more options against the special. Because of these nerfs, the duration of the special will be increased from 5 seconds to 7, which is 1 more second than its original duration at the start of the game. Keep in mind though, this counts the added 50 frames of startup, so you have a little bit more than you had to work with in Splatoon 1, and I think it's necessary considering the knockback and health. Especially since this isn't Crab Tank, it's going to have really bad end lag, just like the special does when it ends normally, so if it's broken, you're probably going to get punished right after. This alone would make the special a little weak though, and on top of that, it's kind of basic. We want to give it a few new tools, so number 3, I want to give it something new based off Splatoon 3, and what better thing to use than the brand new Squid Roll and Surge. This would be a cool way to give the Kraken user more attacking options and more depth to using the special, especially with all the nerfs. Squid Roll would give a predictable but faster way to turn, something the special desperately needs for its mobility, and the Surge would allow it to climb walls even faster and get a quick attack out on the top. I'll also mention for the Squid Surge, it'll charge 2 times faster than it would for a normal squid, which would make it much easier to use to climb surfaces. I think we could also make these stack with Intensify action, so having a little bit of Intensify would mean you could Squid Roll more often without it decaying as fast, and it makes sense considering Swim Speed and Ninja Squid also affect Kraken. Honestly, this just sounds cool to me. It gives Kraken players more options to mitigate weaknesses. The pairing Squid Roll and Surge provide could still be useful to allow you to tank for a little bit longer considering you have HP now, and overall, it just sounds fun to be able to just, Squid Roll at people with a giant Kraken. Number 4, I want to theorize 5 weapons that do not currently have second kits that would fit very well with Kraken to ensure that it would work well well with the weapons in the game, and I'll be trying to have them in the 3 roles of frontline, backline, and support. My first pick would be the Custom Range Blaster, a throwback to the Splatoon 1 kit with Splat Bomb and Kraken, and have the same role, being a more aggressive weapon that can deal with rushdowns and objects because of the sub and special giving you survivability and a way to deal with people running at you. However, compared to the vanilla kit, this would have much less utility and require the user to get a bit closer, which is obviously a problem for a weapon this slow. It's a trade-off to give Range Blaster players access to a more aggressive option since they already have a supportive one. Number 2, Ballpoint Spalling Nouveau. Beacon Kraken would be really cool for enabling more aggressive teams, as beacons in Splatoon 2 gave it a way for players to push back in and enabled more aggressive comps, and I think Kraken would allow the ballpoint user itself to be more aggressive. Number 3, Splatana Wiper. I would pair this with the Fizzy Bomb, basically going for a mobility enhancement, allowing an already fast weapon to have an option to use when it's in your backline, giving it a tool to stay alive or go more aggressive than the current more versatile kit. Number 4, the 96 Gal Deco, another throwback to the Kraken kit of Splatoon 1. Once again specializing in great survivability, however it's also a special that would force this traditionally mid-range weapon to get up close, which would also make the wall a bit more situational. This is also again in contrast to its current more supportive kit, giving players of this weapon access to both playstyles. Finally would be the Big Swig Roller. This with beacons and Kraken would be a cool way to reference the original Kraken kit, but on a weapon where it would make a lot more sense. Big Swig is really good at getting passive value with painting, but could struggle to be more aggressive, where Kraken could be useful, as well as giving you survivability tools, and Beacon would also enhance it to give it more things to do than just paint. All 5 of these kits would be distinct and be able to do different things with Kraken, giving the weapons new playstyle options with their own fair share of weaknesses as the special has been reworked, which I think would fit really well. And well, finally, goal number 5, does it still maintain its original feel? Obviously, it's going to be a bit weaker without the whole invincibility thing, but I think the new traits given to the special would make it feel even better than its Splatoon 1 counterpart, and with it being a more fair special, being able to pop off with this thing and get multi-kills would probably feel way more satisfying. I also think this special would feel great to fight. Kraken taming was one of the most satisfying things you could do in Splatoon 1, and being able to juke out a Kraken only to kill it afterward just felt super satisfying, and I think this feel will be absolutely maintained and feel even better considering the Kraken now has more options, as well as more weapon classes being able to counter it. Personally, I think this feels distinct from other specials, works well on many weapons, would be able to be balanced fine, and would fit amazing for the game. So honestly, I hope one day the devs are able to bring back a reworked Kraken, and I think it would be the best returning special they could bring if it was done right. So I hope we see it. And let me know if you guys want to see a returning Kraken in the comments, and I'll see you all next time.